What's your name?
Mario Fernandez.
And where are you from?
I'm from Monterrey, Mexico, currently residing in San Antonio, Texas.
All right. And what is your occupation?
I'm a corporate aviation pilot, currently trying to land somewhere to call home.
All right. And what kind of aircraft have you flown?
I have experience in Hawker 800s, 700s, King Airs, 200 F90, Beechjet 400, just a handful of hours, well, about 40. And most of my time has been in Cessna Twins, Cessna 414, Cessna 421.
And where have you been flying?
Mostly Monterrey, Mexico, all throughout the state of Texas and northern Mexico. And Toluca and Guadalajara. Well, Toluca is pretty much Mexico City for general aviation.
All right. And how long have you been building models?
I started when I was about 9, left it when I was 13, because we all think we're originally building toys. And then at 18, when I got to college, I found this IPMS chapter at my college, and I was amazed that they were my age and building really, really good. So I decided to join, and the rest is history.
All right. So that means that you've been building for how long, more or less?
25 years.
All right. So, okay. Thank you very much for letting us know who you are. And good luck with your demonstration.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm going to show you right now.
All right, boys and girls. So, this idea I got from a friend of mine. He's got a 3D printer and told me you should really consider one of these. This one's a Portrait Silhouette 3. It costs about $189 in Walmart. You can buy it. That's the smallest one. But for modeling, I think it's the perfect size. You can get a bigger one if you want to, but I find that to be handy, not too expensive. It comes with just the thing right here. The one thing though, it has one blade. So this is it. It's out adjustable, so the software takes care of it. And you can buy replacements. These are $20 a pop. And Michaels, that's the one that carries these. I've had the thing for a year, and I have yet to dull a blade. They really are sturdy. And since they are auto adjustable, depending on the material you want to cut, you can use it for the most popular material is vinyl, which is Oracle vinyl. The roll costs like $9 or $10, which is this one. It also comes with a plastic knife, so you can like scrape it into the model for you to take it off. However, the vinyl has some drawbacks on the long term. So Devon and I were talking about it. Vinyl works great if you're doing masks for painting camos or doing on the fuselage things that you're going to take off relatively soon. If you're going to do windows and you put that thing on after like a couple of weeks, the glue in it will do funny stuff with the clear plastic. It will kind of like overstake or something. So what I usually do is cut Tamiya tape on it and put that on the process, and it'll help you out. Now you can actually download the software at your own computer and start messing with it. You do not need the cutting machine. You can actually do the file on your own, and you can send it to me, or if he has one as well, you can send it to him, and we can cut it. And you can pretty much start messing with this at home. This is freeware, doesn't cost a penny. Here's the attractive part on it. You download the software, which is called, here we go, About Silhouette Studio. It'll ask you to sync up with the cutting machine, but if you don't have one, doesn't matter. You still get the same interface. This is the version we're running at, 4.5. And the fun part of it is this. Okay? I stupidly forgot the cutting mat, but doesn't matter. This thing is the actual cutting mat that comes with the plotter. So you actually have a grid exactly like this physically. As a matter of fact, let me show you a picture that we did on the on Saturdays. Jerry and I and well, actually, let me get a bigger picture.
And myself.
And Rene and in this case Victor. This is the actual cutting mat. If you notice, it's got a grid and it's got numbers. both X and Y. Okay, so this is only useful if you're actually going to send it to cut. If not, you can do it on your own on the program. And in here you can actually match up what you're doing in the software to the actual cutting. But again, that's if you are actually sending it. If you don't have the cutting machine, it doesn't really matter as much. And here we were doing the masks for an Apache. And I actually got that actual file here. Okay? So there's 3 ways you can actually start working on this software. One of them is if you start like on Paint or in Photoshop, or I don't know what you are used to, you start drawing polygons. So I'm going here, let me get a better view out of this. It's this one right here, here. So you can pretty much start tracing what you want to, the shape you want. So that's the dumbest down level, as in let's just start matching points. However, most of the things we want to do are kind of like above that level. So option number 2, which is what I found the easiest, is we do masks mostly for stencils and roundels and markings, right? Well, guess what, boys and girls? There's a website which is called The Font, okay? And in here, I found this font. You just put roundels. Pick your choice. Okay? So now you can actually start using, it's a type font. So you can make it bigger, make it smaller, adjust it to whatever you need. It's going to be traced as is. Okay? So that takes care of it. That's the easy part. There's also another suggestion I would do is if you get the font, it's called Amarillo, which is the standard for, there you go. That's pretty much it. Okay? And again, you just trace, we already downloaded. If you wonder how to download fonts, you just click on download. Okay? Downloads, this Amarillo Yusuf, yeah, whatever. You open it, there's the font, and it just says install it. That's it. That's all you need to do. This line, you'll always see it. It's because it includes every single character in the entire alphabet. So it's just like, so you have an idea how it looks. Once you have that, you come here, and I can see it very well. Let me shape this just a bit. There we go. Again, go to the type font, and let's try, I don't know, BBD. I don't know what font that's gonna be, because that's originally with Arial font, so I'm just gonna write Roundos. And I got the Brazilian, I got the British, and this seems like either Argentina or India or something like that. Okay? And again, if you just need to resize it, if it's a font, easy, just let's make it something bigger, 144. And it does that automatically for you. So that takes a ton of work out of your hands. Okay? Again, you can download this at home and start messing with it if you want. That's option 2. Now, what if you want to get all fancy and let's suppose I want to do a Mandalorian logo with it. You could start tracing it, or this particular thing right here, in Title 4, has this option. So I'm going to import, whoops, not here. Next. Get out of here. I don't need you. Yeah. Sign in later. Nope, it's not there. It's in, well, let's do it the long way. I'm gonna go to Images, Pictures. Here's the Mandalorian logo. I throw it here, okay? Here is, you can see it's giving you the size of the image you want. You can adjust that from centimeters, millimeters, inches, pixels, whatever. So you like working with tenths of an inch, it'll give you that. You just only have to set it up in file preferences. And this is the fun part. So I want to do the Mandalorian logo. So you just go to panels, trace it, and it's give me what area you want to trace. I want to trace this, and just trace it. And all of a sudden, you can do complex logos, squadron markings, you can do pretty much anything you want. Okay? And that takes care of it. That's the basics. Now, from this point on, it all depends on how far you want to get. So what I did, the first thing I did was obviously cutting mask, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But you can actually use this thing to cut styrene. Over here I have, let me show you the file. It's called Hawker doors. You remember I brought a Hawker jet from a couple of meetings ago? That's one version. I'm doing another one. This one I opened the door. So this here, right here, you want to pass these around? Are the doors that I already cut with this thing. It's cut in 2D, obviously, so you need to do some gluing and stuff. But as far as I've heard, this thing will cut all the way up to 2 or 3 millimeters, which is pretty thick.
3 millimeters?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Now, here's
What's the cutting mechanism? Is that a blade?
right here. Here's how this works. This is an auto blade. This thing here has a knot, an indicator. Normally, I have it preset so it will stay put, but the cutter will start pushing down. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, a little tiny black dot in the tip. That's the blade, and it's got a gauge here that goes all the way from 0 to 10. And the further down the road, let me see if I can. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can almost start seeing the tip of the blade right there. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So it adjusts to your depth. What I found is you have to, it's a lot of trial and error, but pretty much the settings that you need is for the vinyl and the Tamiya tape, a setting of 3 up to 5 works fine. If you're doing styrene, you have to go on the high end just to make sure it cuts deep enough. Now, this thing has a control for both speed, force, and how many passes you want. So the older the blade, you want to stay away from multiple passes because you know it'll rag the thing. But again, these cost $20. You can buy them at Michael's. And again, I've got one blade specifically for styrene and one blade specifically for mask, and I've had them for like a year, and I have no need to replace them yet. I actually got another blade ready for the replacement. Now, so this is the actual part. These are the Apache windows. Right now, let's try this Mandalorian thing. So I'm gonna put it right here. Again, I forgot my cutting mat, so what I'm gonna have to do is just send it as is. Okay, so Jerry, we need help on that. Delete. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here for a minute. Now we've been working so far in the design part. You can go to send it, and now here's where things get.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Carriage not found in the material. Did I not load this properly?
So, going off of like a stencil template,
Okay.
could I scan something that is just on a regular paper?
Yes.
And then make the stencil off of that onto something that's adhesive for like a window marking?
That's exactly what we're doing with the vinyl.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So unavailable one. There you go.
These parts were 2D parts that you put on
Yes,
together, right?
that is the actual file. Let me show you back here.
Yeah, that's what he showed.
That's it.
Those are the parts.
Those are the parts that I turned into. Okay. Again, this is all in your brain, so you have to kind of like start thinking about, okay, how do I? Remember when you were like in, I don't know, in school? How do you do a cube? And they give you the pieces like all extruded, if you want to call it like that. So it takes some thinking on your part. So again, this is modeling. It's just like, okay, how do I build this without making sure that the seam doesn't get in the way when I paint this later, stuff like that, okay? It's pretty much the same. You have to have an analytical mind to do this at a certain level, but it's up to you. I mean, you're the artist. In this case, it took me a while. Okay, that's why I printed like four or five, and there's a couple in each little bottle, because I have to do some trial and error. Again, you only position this where you want it, and you send it. Now, how do you make this work? Let's suppose from scratch. You got your piece of vinyl or styrene or whatever you're doing. Normally you glue it because it's got adhesive. It's kind of like yay big. As a matter of fact, again, let me show you the picture. This thing is sticky, okay? So you just place the vinyl in it and it'll hold it there according to the coordinates you're using. And you run that into the plotter and it takes care of everything. How do you do that? It's got marks in here. So you just put it, whoops, there goes my name tag. According to the marks,
You line up the alignment.
that's it. So it's ready. So how do I do that? I already showed you the Mandalorian logo. I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna send it. This thing's ready. Now, here's where you mess with it. Blade depth. If you have the auto blade detected, that's where you pretty much forget about it. And it also has a bunch of list of materials that you can work with. However, I could care less because it starts messing with all the settings. So cardboard, cotton. I tried foamy, but it doesn't cut it very well. It only does it on one side, but it doesn't go all the way through. So it's kind of like,
It scores it.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
That could be useful stuff.
Yeah. Like if you're doing soft edge camo, that could work as well. But it depends on what you're doing. So I'm gonna,
Or if you're doing it on that, styrene, you
Yep.
can use those, you can make your marks and actually create that as a curvature.
yep. Photo paper, this would work as well. For example, you wanna do decals with a particular edge, you could try it here as well. I mean, the sky's the limit. However, this is my personal setting. I stay out of auto blade, give me manual blade, firm, and I have vinyl, okay, matte.
Does that make a difference?
Yes, because it's already got preloaded the settings. However, you can still mess with it regardless.
But I mean, how does that make a difference? Is it just because of it expects with matte to be a smoother cut or a rougher cut?
It messes with the speed, it messes with the force, and it messes with the number of passes you want.
Okay.
So it's already got preset, okay? All these different materials, but you can pretty much narrow it down to what you need. As far as my experience goes, it says that vinyl, like I said, you can leave it at 3 or 4. Okay? As a matter of fact, I gotta make sure the blade is actually there. Yeah, there it is. Make sure that it's set. There you go, 4. No, I want 1 pass. Force 10, that's way too much. So I'm just gonna leave it at 6. Speed. That's decent. I warned you, it sounds like robots doing the naughty naughty, but it's okay. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, the question is, how do you know robots doing the 99? Yeah.
See what I mean? It's either that or the old school modems, the 28-page modems that you used to on the phone.
It's something like that than the other.
And we got, did you want to pass it around? Yeah. The Mandalorian logo.
Because seeing this brings to mind that I just got that 21 charger kit, and there is a stencil in the instructions for the outline on the windows.
Yeah, easy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I said on the picture that I showed here, we were doing Apache windows, and that should be, I gotta do the sign. And here are the ones we Oh, I warn you, the amount of leftovers is ungodly. If you think decals leave a mess after you put those in, try this. So I'm giving you a heads up. And it's sticky even worse than decals, so be mindful. You're gonna do some cleaning up and there's gonna be a lot of leftovers, especially if you do vinyl. But I think it's totally worth it. Again, we have one. In this case, I got this one, but if you wanna start working with this, you make your file, send it to me, I'll print it out, or maybe we're talking about Devon's got another brand of it. We could just translate from one to the other, or make the equivalent, and I'll print it. We only need to, the consumables would be the vinyl or the tape that you're gonna be using. If you're gonna do like big masks, Hill Country has like yay big sheets of Tamiya tape.
Let me take a look at that before you.
So if you're doing a big mask, that could work. But again, it takes a lot of trial and error because you're actually, okay, let me try this one, it didn't work out, so I'm gonna reprint. And that's why I always trace more than one stencil for what I'm doing, because trust me. How many times, oh, I bought a stencil and you put it, oh, I didn't get it. Before you know it, the sticky side's already worn out. So you got plenty of, I screwed up, so I'm gonna try it again. Now, for you tank guys, I found this short video. I think you may like. The guy's using to cut styrene, just like I did on the, come on. He's doing, hey, what's going on here? There we go. He's rolling in order to get,
Oh, that's paper modeling.
yeah, it's pretty much paper modeling. In order to get 35-gallon drum barrels on the fly. And he just cuts the square parts are ribs just to make sure it gets the proper shape.
Holds.
Yeah, which the drums actually have, by the way. And once that's done, he just trims it off, and there you go. You got your. So again, if you got one of these and a 3D printer, you have the devil. Okay?
Because isn't that where the details at?
Precisely. And money. And money. But that's another story.
Yeah.
Any questions? Let me see if I can find it when it's already done. It's taking scratch building to like another level, right? Or cheating. I was actually fighting with a guy that said, that's not scratch building.
The hell is it not?
Sure. Are you building with like a hammer and chisel? Because we all use tools, right? But
Why does everything have to be set on hard?
I don't know. So what I've used it for my masks. I've done my scratch building, like I don't know where the parts are.
Right here.
Over here? Okay, they're back, okay. Pretty much that's it. That's what we're.
And you said the maximum thickness is 3?
I've heard guys gone all the way up to 5, but I wouldn't push it. The most I think I did was about 2. And I know for sure it will cut 2. You just have to give it like a ton of force to make sure it goes through the styrene.
That's just one pass. So it's not like-
Well, you can do more than one pass, so let me. Let's see if I
If you
can.
want to do it in one pass, you can do it in one pass, right?
Yeah. There you go. There's your barrel. Okay? And speaking of, back to studio. Here in Sen, here's the number of passes. Force, like I said, I didn't need much force on vinyl, so I would put a 7. For styrene, throw the force at least till 8. But that's pretty much the amount of energy this thing needs. Again, passes depends on the age of the blade. If you have a ragged up blade, it'll start, you don't want that many passes. And you will mark the template, the sticky side thing. You will mark it because sometimes, oops, I overdid it. Doesn't matter, that's what it's for. And again, I've had it for over a year and I still have to, I haven't had to replace it. For the Tamiya tape, I found that the best way to put it, because at first I tried putting it on the mat. Well, you got sticky on one side, sticky on the other. Good. good luck trying to peel it off. What I would do now is I cut some vinyl off it, put the tape there. As a matter of fact, that's what I did on the picture. Here. It's actually sitting on the base of the vinyl backing, which is kind of like, what is it called? Papel encerado, what's the name?
Wax paper.
There you go. So you can just peel it off right away. And I did the masks for the hawker, tail number, especially, well, I found it especially useful since I'm mostly into civilian stuff. Sometimes you have the white tail number or a dark colored tail and you want the clear logo on it. That's the easiest way to do it. Pretty much that should be what we're talking about. Any questions, suggestions, ideas?